Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. South Africa says Israel's bombing of Lebanon is a serious violation of the territory of a sovereign state and a grave violation of international law. The Department of International Relations and Cooperation says the international community cannot afford to remain indifferent. It says 22 civilians were killed and 117 injured when Israel hit central Beirut on Thursday. Departmental spokesperson Crispin Piri says Israel continues to violate international humanitarian law with impunity in Gaza.
South Africa condemns the bombardment of Lebanon as a serious violation of the territorial integrity of Lebanon and international humanitarian law. Israel has launched ground incursions in southern Lebanon on the 30th of September, where 10,400 peacekeepers are deployed under the command of a Spanish general. According to the official Lebanese figures, nearly 2,000 people have been killed in Lebanon since October 2023. A senior official has told the United Nations Security Council that the safety of 10,400 UN peacekeepers is in jeopardy. According to the United Nations official, the Israeli forces have deliberately fired on positions where there are UN peacekeepers. South Africa underscores that this attack on peacekeepers is a grave violation for international humanitarian law.
Right, let's bring in some analysis with Thembisa Fakude, who's a senior research fellow and director AfriCID, to weigh in on the latest developments in the Middle East. A very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. South Africa is condemning the bombardment of Lebanon, of course, joining in the likes of Britain, Italy, France, Germany, which are calling for an immediate stop for the Israeli attacks on the UN nations peacekeeping mission in Lebanon. I mean, how do we reflect on this story? Because the calls keep coming in for a stop, and it seems to be continuing.
Yeah, this is a very rogue government under the leadership of Benjamin Netanyahu, who wants to kick the can down the road, waiting for the elections in the United States and hoping that Donald Trump will win the elections, and Donald Trump likely to favor his style of politics. So Israel has violated every single law that is available at the moment. They've gone on to violate international airspaces of Lebanon and the integrity of the country in pursuit of Hezbollah. So they're doing as they please. At the moment, they've got at least 7 fronts in terms of who they're battling and bombarding their way through, with the hope that, of course, all of those that are being bombarded at the moment will submit to Israelis' demands. But it doesn't look like it. The rockets continue to land in Israel, notwithstanding their multi-billion rand defense system. So it's very tough at the moment, and I don't see any way out, notwithstanding what you've just said in terms of countries calling for a ceasefire, but Israel is dug in its heels, and it's continuing its bombardment of Gaza, West Bank, and Lebanon.
Yeah, because what's happening is the development of the genocide process in Gaza, and the calls have been for the international community to move in to stop the aggression. I mean, I know you've just said that, the likelihood, is quite slim at this point, especially we are seeing that the Israeli aggression is spreading and it needs to be stopped. What is the approach that has been taken by different members of the international community? I mean, South Africa has an entire court case, but how are the others weighing in?
Well, others are weighing in through the multilateral engagements, mainly at the United Nations Security Council and the General Assembly, which has not been able to stop the Israeli aggression and bombardment of Gaza and West Bank and Lebanon. So that's where most of the deliberations are taking place. But there's only one party here that can stop Israel from continuing with this bombardment of Lebanon and Palestine. And that is the United States of America, because the United States of America is the country that's providing the wherewithal for the Israelis to continue doing what it's doing. So if the Americans stop supporting financially and militarily Israel is likely to stop what's currently doing. in the region. But as long as you have the United States that continue to support Israeli aggression in both Gaza and the West Bank and now in Lebanon, we are likely to have Benjamin Netanyahu who continuing doing what he's doing, because he knows, of course, that when the dust settles, he's likely to go to jail because he's facing a lot of troubles and legal challenges within Israel. And having said that, there's a continuation of protests within Israel, but even that is currently falling on deaf ears, and Benjamin Netanyahu and his right-wing alliance within the Knesset continue doing as they wish.
And what does this mean for the ICC's credibility if we take stock of the kind of impact they've had on this development? And I would also like for us to touch and perhaps expand on what you said about the US and the likelihood for those November elections should Donald Trump win, and how imperative those elections will be as the ripple effect to what shapes the Middle East's future.
Well, there are two processes at the moment, the ICJ and the ICC. ICJ is against Israel, and ICC is against Benjamin Netanyahu and his defense minister, Yoav Gallant, including some of the Hamas leaders, including Yahya Sinwar, who is credited in inverted commas with what happened on October the 7th. So those processes are going on. ICJ is going to be a long process. We are likely to see the result of that after the tenure of Benjamin Netanyahu. But the ICC, of course, is likely to continue, and those charges, when they are formalized, Benjamin Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant are likely to be restricted in terms of their movement around the world, because wherever they go, it's going to be the same as what happened with Omar al-Bashir of Sudan and Vladimir Putin. We will be forced, or the world will be forced to arrest them, at least those who are signatory to the Roman Statute. Now you have the American elections coming up, and Donald Trump, who has openly supported Benjamin Netanyahu and who has supported these current incursions in Gaza, West Bank, and Lebanon, including him saying that he will solve and deal with Iran, in inverted commas. So Benjamin Netanyahu is hoping, of course, that if Donald Trump wins, he is going to support him. And if he does support him, Benjamin Netanyahu will get basically a blank check to do as he pleases in the region, especially in light of the inability and unwillingness by countries in the region to act to stop the barbarity that we're currently seeing on our TV screens, whether it's in Lebanon or West Bank or Gaza.
Perhaps let's look at another matter closer to home, Thembisa, where you spoke about the impact that the dismissal of Obed Babela will have from his position in the NEC on the ANC, putting a spotlight on South Africa's policy, foreign policy once again. I mean, what after effects are we likely to see as a result of that move?
Well, this pertains to South Africa relationship with Morocco. We know that ANC has given its support for the people of Western Sahara, and Morocco is accused by the ANC of being a colonizer. And Obed Babela went apparently on his own. He went on a family trip to Morocco, but whilst in there, he led a delegation that met with political leaders in Morocco, and he went to utter certain statements which offended the ANC, particularly Nomvula Mokonyana, who is Obed Babela's boss. And that's why he was fired. But many people really do believe that there is a need for a reset in terms of relations between South Africa and Morocco, while South Africa continues to support the people of Western Sahara. But the economic benefits that could come as a result of South Africa normalizing relations or resetting, pressing the reset button between Morocco and South Africa are huge. We had the president tonight outside Luthuli House as they were celebrating 100 years of the GNU, talking about a new form of diplomacy, which is trade diplomacy. Morocco has got those opportunities, and there are already some countries, some companies in South Africa that are benefiting from that relationship, including Sanlam. So if we are going to have this normalization of relations, in inverted commas, with Morocco, we are likely to have an economic boost in this country, which is something that we all need. And I think the foreign policy regarding Morocco should really prioritize our national interest, and that national interest is business. Trade with Morocco will certainly help the unemployment in this country, and I think the ANC made a mistake by swiftly and harshly booting out Obed Bapela, notwithstanding, of course, that there's that normal relationship that's supposed to be going on between the two countries, and some of us did not really see anything that offensive that could have led to that decision that was made on Friday against Obed Bapela.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us this evening. Thembisa Fakude, who's a senior research fellow and director of AfriCID, weighing in on the latest developments in the Middle East and also touching on factors here at home.